It's a lot of fun when you go up to higher frequencies of communications of channels. You see more through provision, to understand everything through tactic view. You have to understand what the avatar is through calculations. Understanding everything through life. What does life represent to you through calculations? Living the intelligence of freedom of energy. That's what it represents. But what does it represent to you? And the only way to do that is change the mind. The conceptual and aligning rotation interference has to understand its attraction. What are you attracting every single time, every day when you wake up in the morning? Are you attracting energy to where? Where is it going? What's the intent? What's the will? What's the force? What's the creation? What's the location? What are you doing when you get up in the morning? How do you feel? Do you feel off center? Do you feel off calculated? Do you feel modified? Do you feel division? Do you feel connection off system? Where are you in calculation of travel? This is all done through the avatar. To make it very well clear, your avatar is you all levels. It's just reaching higher conscious system locations. But truly understand, you are the provision locations. You are the direction. You are the location. You are the GPS. You are all levels of you through travel. Traveling through all level connection is you. Okay? Only you and nobody else. So once you put yourself in all levels, you get a better calculations of what's going on. It's amazing when you travel. You start to travel and you start to connect fully and completely into two into one line system. Vector communications, quadrant line centers, all division location to its tactics. It opens all triangles and communication of levels of your chakra system. It high rises your division locations to your scepters communications. It opens all levels of your eyes. You start seeing things in division locations. You start seeing all levels of you through track system. You start seeing things in its awareness. Awareness is everything. All right. You're being aware of what you're seeing through information, operation and perception. This calculates all levels of you, right? So you got to ask yourself, how important is it for me to remember? And it's important to understand these things. It's not a forced issue here. But see, the thing is, school is provided for memory. And the thing is, if you don't go to school, the avatar gets confused. Do you understand that? So once you get into the activation line connections, the avatar has to understand the calculation, how to get into telepathy of itself. You understand? That's the communication. Now, once you understand the mind and where it's at, you have to understand where you are through frequency. Where are you through space? Where are you through time? Where are you through memory? It correlates its all-line center inference location to its calculations, right? So it's truly standing is all levels of you through the grounds, the powers in the atmospheres. Really, really get connected with the earth of you, which is inside. Okay. Everything is represented from inside, not outside. Outside is lacking. Inside is everything. Okay. So try to understand there's two space lines. One is outside that doesn't represent you. The inside represents you 100% of the heart lines. Heart communication to a cycle. All right. The psychosis location is your connections to your thoughts. How you use the provision is its location to its connection. Right. So it's important you understand how to represent yourself every single time you get up in the morning. How do you feel? Where's your emotion? Where are you connected to? What do you do now? What do you do next? What's going to happen? So it's all calculated. All right. So the avatar just has to understand its grounds of the mind, where it's at, where it's going, and what's going to happen next. Okay. So it's all done through the how. The how is the most important thing. And the avatar has to understand the communication to you because it's only you, nobody else. It's just you. You're trying to send more levels of the consciousness, and that consciousness high rises more into the mind system. Okay. The higher you go, the more you see. And when you see these things, everything opens up through its clarity to its visionary to its placebo. Your placebo and your track lines and your TV receptions and your Wi-Fi's change through light. And when it changes to light, you start seeing things more through a film. Okay. It's like this, right? So, and you're picking up, connections all levels. You're seeing this, you're seeing that, trying to figure this, trying to figure out that, catching this, catching that. That's data, right? So what the avatar is doing is trying to remember who or she is. Okay. So that's a true understanding why it's so important what school is. School provides you balance. And if you don't go to school, you're off balance because remember, you're connected to the avatar now. And the avatar has to not just understand the school, but understand why you're going to school in the first place. It's all through memory, school of memory. And it all starts at the bus, right? Get on the bus, you go to school. Plain and simple, right? So 5 minutes, we'll get started. Now, I said that the signals, locations, and the codes, and hopefully you guys watched Troy. There's a lot of history and ancestry there through calculation. All right. Now, when you see this, you're automatically going to travel through it. Some are going to feel emotional. Some are going to feel off center. Some are going to feel balanced. Some are going to feel off balance. It's all through memory. Everything I do through travel is memory for you to understand who you are and where you came from, which is all levels of the now. Okay. So it's all about the interlined connections to the interception in its position location to your timelines, which is all levels of you, right? So it's just the memories of you. And when you remember these things, you start connecting to yourself better through the physical line and the adaptation of the avatar. Okay. So if I'm pointing my finger up like this, that's not the avatar up there. It's here. Right. So you're creating the reality that you want. You're creating the space. The earth is inside you. So you have to learn how to water it. So you have to learn how to play in the garden. You have to learn how to fly a kite. You have to learn how to ride a bike. It's all position locations to the avatar from the very beginning when it wakes up to an inner child. Interlock line center interception location to its interfacing. You're interlining its position every single time you wake up in the morning, remembering who you are, right? So it's the physical line that has to connect to the avatar. The avatar has to connect to the physical line, 2 into 1. Okay. Teleportation, telecommunication, 2. It's telegraphing, right? Because you have to understand the transmitting and receiving its information. It's all done through energy. But what is energy? How is it produced? How do you see through energy? How do you understand the energy? How do you understand the voice of the energy? Everybody is different through perception, but everybody comes out with the same equation, which is amazing, right? So there's no forced issue here, okay? You just have to understand what the school represents to you. It's not just the memory, it's the balance of the avatar, okay? And that's the problem when people don't go to school. They get lost in transition, lost in translation, lost in confusion, right? School provides you what the avatar needs. It's the communications from the general to you as the avatar through vibration. That's the only way you can connect. And it's all done through telepathy from you and telepathy from everything else and around you. It's balancing every single day with you. And the school is extremely powerful because we travel through our minds. Okay? The minds of telepathy, communication, telegraphing, teleenergy, teleporting. Okay? So it's all connected to you through frame. All right. So you're seeing visions, you're seeing graphs, you're seeing shapes, you're seeing colors, you're seeing lights, right? You're seeing everything you need to see. And that is all calculated for you and you only, nobody else. All right. So it's understanding what you're seeing. That's the confusion, right? So going to school gives you out of confusion and puts you back into balance. Okay. That's why it's so important to understand what's going on with you every single day, right? So if you miss 1 or 2 days, that's totally fine. You can watch them back. But remember, when you're watching them back, you're watching it in the now. You're not watching it as it's taped because it's not taped. You think it's taped because you think it's recorded. It's not recorded when you watch it between the general and yourself. I'm showing you in position locations, it's directly between 2, right? So I'm calculating to your frequency, to your position, to your location, to your timeline of the now, which is extremely powerful. Okay. Even if it was like 3 years ago, I bring it forward into the now. Okay. This is all about understanding how you have to balance out everything through your timelines into one position, one location, one clocking of a system. Okay, that's the only way you can understand everything through its future of its integration. Okay, all right. So, and everybody's up to a high frequency, so it's going to be a lot more easier to understand what's going on through clarity and visions. All right, Jill, how's it going? Ellen, how's it going? Pam, how's it going? Terry, Don, Airbender, Michael, Johnny. Get into staff location, Gypsy, Ambi. Let's go. Calculations, Ellen, Love, Missy. Go as much as I can here. There's a lot going on today. So in calculations, the Ascended Master is already traveling. All right, that's the Trinity stand that they give them information ahead of time. You guys will get into that when you get to higher levels. All right, so I'm going to set the codes, and you're automatically going to go through the lion's mouth. So before we go through that position location, you have to understand what the lion is. It's the protector of all line center. It's the observation location. It covens its system locations into all levels. The lion is fierce, but it's also position location of protection. It protects everything through the animal kingdom. It's the most powerful, ferocious animal in its mystical line. So it's very powerful what it is, the calculations, right? So when you go through it, you're going to go through all levels of what you're seeing, right? It's amazing because it's adaptation for you to understand your memories, right? And it's very powerful when you're traveling through this because it coordinates all levels of you. You come up with the same equation, but through different perception. Okay. So co-signal line centers, crew line centers. I'm going to split line centers in 4 line interference locations. You're not going to be going into the same line center, but you're all going to be going through the line's mouth. In calculation modifications, code signal lines up line center interference. Okay, observation line interference, the crews, units. Separate the high line centers in 1 and 2 communications. High channel line center rotation interference of line's mouth and communication interference. High rotation line centers, all calculations. In position locations into the GFL, the rebellion. Everything through the cinematic is going to high track its high line center locations. High division line center in position ready. Set. Go. All right, so we got the roar in calculations, right? Got to get the voice grid line center, get in position location to the line. It's set in signal. High position lines connections. All right, here we go, the calculation. Now, when you see it, you're going to travel right through it. It's all set up in signal. All right, there it is. There's the mouth. There's the line. In position location, it's all set up, right? So I'm going to put the portal line in rotations. You guys are going to travel through it. High position locations. So your sun generalizing your light centers in position locations, Corvus and line in rotations, right? Caves, caverns, highline centers, highline interference, memory interference line conditions going through the line's mouth calculations. All levels go calculation, rotation interference. There's the portal. Come into position. Here we go. In the center line positions right in. Calculation all levels, right? 30 minutes, have fun. Ooh-ah, gonna get some water. All right. The specialties I love is my granola bars and my water. I gotta have my oats and I have to have my grains. Water is crucial when you're traveling because the high signals your plasma line center is a portal location to its calculation. It high channels its high systems because the more you travel, especially through acceleration through frequency positions, whoa, you can travel extremely fast. Now, traveling faster, you have to find more balance. So it equalizes its system, and that's the balance locations to all levels of the male and the female aspects of you through yin and yang. All right. But it's incredible when you travel the Heinlein rotation into calculation. 2 levels of the lion. So, let's see where we are. Yep, grounds. Make sure you drink your water. Okay. Hydrating, present, grounded, excited for the moment. Good. Knowing exactly what you guys are going through. Thank you, Jill. Okay. Locations, highline, channels, and calculation. Crows activated 1.5 million. Great. Thank you, MB. Standby. Pre-flight check. Mostly understanding that through position. Overwatch. Engaged. All right. Okay. Yeah, if you're trying to understand and you don't understand, that's okay. I mean, especially for the new viewers. It's all about understanding that this is all levels of imagination. And that's what this school is. It's just school of memory. And when you start remembering these things, everything comes into the pieces and puzzles. You put it all together, and then you start recognizing you through the mind. Understanding the mind, communication of the mind, the programs of the mind. You understand communication, all levels of the mind. What is the mind? The imagination of correlation that puts you at all level position locations to its phenomenon. All right? But you have to start somewhere. You have to start from the ABCs and 1, 2s, and 3s before you start anything else through calculation. All right? All right. Let's see where we are here. Yeah. Well, it's all about, it's not just the learning, it's understanding the process and how this works. It's your imagination. That's all you're coming into. And all you have to do is how to use the mind of telepathy to telekinesis. Mind. The mind of telepathy, communication to telekinesis. You're traveling your imagination to your thoughts, and you're creating all levels of frame. So it's a TV frame. That's all it is. It's opening up. It's like you're sleeping, but you're recharging your position to your avatar when you get up in the morning. The mind never, never sleeps. It's always, always charging. Do you understand that? It's constantly moving. That's all it is. That's what it is doing. And the brain is just firing, wiring. That's all it's doing every single day. But understanding the process and understanding the physical and understanding the avatar gets you a better process communication to its learning. Okay, it's all through adaptation. How to resonate, how to communicate to all levels of the heart. Okay, the heart line center. Okay, is the most important thing, right? Because you have 2 lines, the head space and the heart. Okay, so don't get confused to that, because now you're confused. You see what I just said there? Don't get confused. Change your thought. I'm not confused. And then you say, I never was confused. You see how I changed these things? You have to learn how to change the adaptation of cycle of the mind into telepathy to its communication, so you can understand the expansion or what you're doing with the modification. Okay? So, all right. I'm just going through the list here. All right, so you guys are going through your positions. Yeah, so especially for the new beginners. So what I'd like to start off with when new people come in is to truly understand all levels of what travel is. And I keep saying that it's so important. You can go through coloration, you can go through time positions, you can go through box centers. What am I talking about? I keep saying that every single day. Well, it's all about understanding you. understanding what is happening with you every single day. You're going through all levels of emotion. You have to learn how to balance this out through your human resonance. You're nothing but a graph of communication to its system. That's all it is. That's all it is in position. Okay? Just a graph. That's all it is. It's just a graph, right? So this is the calculations where you have to understand all timelines of you to the grounds, powers, and the atmosphere. So you're in a ground line center. Where are you in position locations? Okay, in travel. In calculations, where are you in the center operation of its dimension? And where are you in your cloud, right? Your magnetic highway information system. This is your data, your powers, and your grounds, and your graph, right? So your graph is positioned to its compilation. All right. So it's all about reading the Highline Center to all connections to the avatar. Right. Let's draw it through signal, rotation, and interference. All right. So your electrical light. This is all you. This is all you are. This is all you are. That's all you are. That's my electricity. So you truly understand the grounds that you're kind of like stepping on every single day, because it's connected to the flux capacitor to its communication system. Right? See how that comes in? It's pretty amazing when you understand who it is you're connecting to. It's you. You come into all levels, how you come into higher level connections, into the future creation of you connections to its position. See how it comes into form. So it's all about understanding. You start off at the very beginning and understand. See, solar graph line center in calculation. This is all levels of you. This is the grounds. This is the powers, and this is the atmosphere. Now, once you understand the ground line center, it has to stand you from fluctuation. It has its ground interference, one line cross, middle line cross, and an atmosphere cross system. Okay. Once you understand that position locations, the ground changes its color of its emotion. Now, it's pretty powerful stuff. Let's say you go through security. So your security line centers off. So the ground interference changes all levels in red right away, fluctuates in position locations, pings the highline center line interference to the flux capacitor in hand position, channels up into all levels of your scepter, right? 3 line center line interference comes into all level positions. So 3 planetary system line interferences opens up. You got the sun position, always have the sun. In calculations, you always have the moon in position locations, always in direction, right? So in calculations, you got the 3 forks, right? See the 3 forks in my hand? So in position locations, all this comes into one. All right? So it's all about taking all your chakra systems into one. Male and female into one. Okay? Sun and the moon into one, right? All your cells into one. Particle system into one. Okay? Ground powers and atmospheres into one. So this is all about understanding. This is how you come into yin and yang of the process communications at all levels of you through the avatar stream. Okay? So you have to truly understand what you're doing through emotional through its graph interference. It calculates and modifies all of you through the human resonance, right? So because you understand you're nothing but a calculations to all levels of a rainbow. This is you through your body. So your body changes position locations all through its emotions, right? This is you. Pretty powerful how you stand in position locations, right? So understanding this is you. This is a walking system of you through the avatar. Your stream center line rotations, your TV reception location, coloration of lights. So you have to stand the position location. So if you're in this color line center, the sun and the moon has to stand you through track system. Your magnetic force to the ground, the powers, and the atmospheres of change. It position locations to its connections, right? So what happens is you get magnetic fields of your crown line center, okay? And you get position locations to your E field line position. It opens all track line center interference locations. See? You see that? Now it opens all the ground line centers, change the fluctuation line positions to the ground interference location to its calculations. You have to be all one color to calculate all levels, division, location of balance. Your rainbow activation line center in position locations, right? So that's the balance of its T reception lines. So you're going from one signal, one location, one direction, one light, one activation. That's it. Nothing else, nothing more, right? Anything anything other than that, you're changing your graph interference. You're changing emotional, and you're coming out of its track system. So it's very important to understand everything through revision. All right. So once you come into calculation, the sun changes its line center. So the 8 line center is your communication cycle. See the 8? There's the 8 there, right? That's your infinity cycle. Now that graphs its interference location in this galaxy, sets course and communications to its position of its sun and its moon. See that? That's your antenna, right? That's your antenna. So understand that calculations. You're nothing but a box TV line center. Now that box is communication to all levels. That's your position locations to its graph system. See the box? Now, as it rotates its system in the center, it changes its position location to its calculations, highlines its channels. See it? See how it highlines the channels? As it's highlining the channels, you can change all levels of division location to a simulation into 12 line interference. You stay within the 12 line position of travel. Okay? So it's true to stand. I'll do this in black so you understand the calculation when it comes into the box system or what it is through TV reception line. You just have to understand integration location to the sun and to the moon position. See, that's how it works. All right. So as the atom rotation, let's go into black line interference so you can see the energy field. There's your atom. Okay, that's what processes you every single day. Now, the change the ground line center and position location changes all levels of its division to its ground system. All right, sets a course and travels through the position location to its division. All right, it travels. It's amazing when things travel through connections. See that? See how it travels? Right? So at offline center interference location automatically connects to the moon, and it does telepathy wave signals to the sun, right to the sun position. So it's incredible. And then it travels back to all levels. You set up a triangle line in rotation. There you go through calculations, right? So the triangle set up position line interference. It sets the high line center interference, goes back in the center position locations to the 8 line rotation, which is your infinity teleportation line communication cycle, right? So you can recourse line center. You can change position locations into a clocking system. There's the intelligence. You see it? See the eyes? See the intelligence? All right? So as you see the intelligence, you see the body, you see the atom rotating, right? You see the ground line center change the position, location, and line conditions. Pretty powerful stuff when you connect to the sun and the moon through its programmed setting. As it gets higher line interference location, you change your 8 line center and position locations. See how it's changed position? And we come into position location again, and we come in position location into a flower. Nope. Now we got a Baranian sphere. Rotation, interference, local line conditions. Comes into a planetary line center, high line center of a solar system. Ooh-ah. Calculation, modification, line conditions, all levels, division locations, back into sun communication, back in the moon, back in triangle line interference location, atom rotation, back in communication. All right. So I wanted to show you how powerful it is to understand the rainbow activation of your body and how it represents all levels of you through your graph location. All right. High tolerance, medium tolerance, low tolerance, and lower division. See how that goes, right? So you got telepathy wave signals high, okay? And you got medium, okay? You got low, and anything lower division. So it's lower equals division, all right? So it's amazing how you set up the graph line center interference. So let's say you get upset. Well, if you get upset, your securities are off balance. Your graph interference goes like this, down. Right? It's like a graph, and that's all it is. You know how a graph goes up and the graph goes down like this. That's what the body is, right? That's all it is. Climbing up the ladder or going down the ladder. Okay. So to understand, you're calculating the levels of 12 DNA track interference. Your coloration changes every single time through its sector. Communications quantum line center, interference line conditions of vibration, vibration to calculations, all levels of rainbow activation line conditions. It's all positioned for you to understand how to calculate and what you're doing every single time when you're in emotion. Okay, that emotion changes the graph interference. Let's say we go into blue. Now, blue position location is your throat pattern, right? So let's say we go from here in position location that crosses its signal. All right, see that? All right. So in position locations, you have to understand all levels. So you can lace interference. That's lace interference. That's graph interference line position locations. All right. So it's all understanding how to balance these things out. All right. So you come into X equals lace, your calculation, right? Lace line center is merging. Okay. So you got one stream into another stream, mixing in position location of vibration line centers. Okay. So X equals lace equals line. Okay. Calculations. Now, this is all about understanding how you have to merge everything into one position location. Let's say you go into yellow. Now, it's all calculated and modified through emotional track, guys. You just get up in the morning and put yourself in position location. How do you feel when you're connecting to inside through your vibration, right? Because it's all connected to the heart line, right? How you feel. So it's true standing, if the heart goes higher, what happens to the vibration? Right? So you got to bring it back down. Time sequence, time code. That's the XY line interference. It positions its program location to understand the coloration of the heart line center changes your connection to your emotional tract. It's understanding the coloration that it changes. It fires and wires your position location that goes into the back frontal lobe and the front line center rotations of realm interference to your eye receptor interference to your ear line connections to your throat patterns. It's calculated and modified to all levels of your flux capacitor that channels its position location to your chakra system. In modification system, you have to understand all levels of its connections. All right. So let's say we go into the green. Right. So we go into the green graph in the hindline rotation. Here's the graph to the green line system. There's the green. So we got the heart line center, we got the water line center interference of the throat, and we got the security line position going up. So this is how AI identifies everything through graph, all through motion through the heart. This is how the heart reads its signal locations all through your position location to its stream. Travel recognition of time sequence. It all aligns its position locations, all levels of lacing interference to its calculations. All right. So it's fascinating when you reach higher levels of a graph, center graph, energy graph, simulation graph, meditation graph, right? Singularity line interference location of the graph line system locations. Everything calculates. Everything inside is attached to you. Every particle cell is connected to every electrical wire that's in provision location to understand what you're doing every single time you get up in the morning. It's all done through your emotion, but it's all connected to your graph of your chakra system. So, and this is how the heart reads you inside. When you can't see your heart, how do you know what's going on? Right? Heart needs more water, more coloration, more time to itself, right? So I'm talking just on a heart level. I'm not talking about the physical level. The heart is communicating through me, through the avatar, through the physical line center, to the balance, to the yin and yang. Okay? This is intelligence coming from the heart and how it feels today. You understand? So that's a balance on its own. There's no separation with that. It's all calculated and modified, all of the positional locations to its calculation. Truly understand how to use it through vibration of coloration of space and time, right? It planetaries its system location to its directions, guys, right? This is full communication to my heart right now, right? So I'm just showing you how you can communicate on your own to know that the heart itself has its own intelligence. It's extremely aware of what's going on with you. Okay? It's all the electrical system that's inside that provides you the guidance that you need to understand how to use it through your travels. Okay? It's very powerful when you connect with that. Right? So, I wanted to show you how powerful it is, how you are accumulating all line center locations of a clocking locations to a graph interference to all position line centers in calculation. All right. all through vibration, right? Because your electrical line centers, your electrical division line centers, your program setting positions, your computer adaptation cycle is all levels of you. So isolate your system, get to know all your electrical wires and communication to all levels of you through your avatar, all through communications to the heart and how you feel, right? So this is the position that you have to understand why it's so important to remember who you are, right? Because everything in life is from inside of you, not from outside. That's just an obstacle. That's just an illusion. Everything inside is you. That's the real you. That's the positions that you're living, the intelligence of freedom, of energy. It's very powerful, isn't it? So there's a lot to take on that. But I'm just telling you how you can communicate to your own heart by its own provision, to its own intelligence, of its own time and space, all through connection. All right. Okay, let's see. Vortex getting so massive. I see a turret starting to fly to a giant tornado. You guys are going through a lot. It's amazing to see these things. Rainbow pocket balls snowing everywhere. Fill the pockets also. Safekeeping. Unit booster, everyone. Okay. Going through connections, ancestry history. Clearing. Yep. Confirmed. Holding. Portal. Open with hammer. Good. Winds are coming in. Great. Moving all data. Plasma dust. Great. Roar is building. Yeah. Receiving downloads. Exactly know what's going on through calculations, guys. Yeah. Keep releasing. Yep. Holding grounds. Yeah. And you guys are liking more travel, so I keep you up there a little bit more. It's a lot more fun when you understand why you're traveling. It puts in everything connections. All right. So now you understand why it's so important to actually understand how to communicate with your own heart. Don't you find that fascinating to understand what it is through coloration? You don't understand these things because you dwell. You think too much. That's a problem why you can't really interline its connection, integrate its system location of what the heart is inside through its own emotion of its own intelligence. So this helps you always informs when you start to go inside more. Really, really, really absorb, like really get connected. What's the coloration of my heart today? How do you know the heart is changing color? The only way you know is for you to understand how to see these things. And it's all done from inside, right? Because you're creating a space of time. And that precedes all levels of you. Okay? So in calculation, all levels. What's happening with all level connections to my fingers, right? Well, it's all intelligence. It's communicating with me, right? It can reset anything position locations, right? I can do this to the heartline center and it activates. So it's to understand what the finger is doing to the heart and what the heart is responding to through the finger. Intelligence, finger communications, but it's all different division locations, the moon, the sun, the weather. Okay. So it's all about understanding how to move position locations. The modality line interference location has its own parallel, paradox, paradigm shift, polar shift, solar generation line and line condition, rotation, interference of planetary line conditions, cosmic interference location off track. What is that through modification signal? That's modification to its calculations. Truly understanding the eye line centers, all through the ear line rotation of sonar, ringing ears calculations, right? Understanding all levels of voice. That's how my throat's feeling right now. You understand? No, you don't understand because you can't see from inside. That's the problem. The only way you can get that is more levels of memory. Once you understand the memory, once you understand calculations, then you come in the electrical line connection to its avatar. Get in your ground, position, location, its calculations. Modify high centers, get everything through intelligent location to its atom. All right. So that's a lot of fun when you get into that connections, right? It's easy to start off the shapes, especially with 3, 6, 9. 3 is of the position of the sun, 6 position location of the moon, and 9 is the location of you, which is the 1%. So you just truly understand how to put this all together. through travel. You start traveling through shapes, letters, numbers, and symbols. Once you get in calculations, then you understand how to travel through this. I just communicate with 7. Right? So right now I feel like a 7. Right? So 7 is position location of this. So it's sure understand, how does the 7 feel today? Not tomorrow. There's not tomorrow, only the now. So a 7 rotation line system. Whoa, feel the energy. Right? Right? There's a 7. I feel like a 7 because that's what I am. So let's cross the sig locations into DNA, right? So where it's happening right now, it's signaling the cross line, graph line rotations all over the DNA track interference locations. So, and you look at it, it's intelligence. See the eyes? See the intelligence? See? Everything is forms of you. So everything that you do is intelligence of you. Everything is intelligence. Everything is intelligence. Eyes, there. It's all calculated and modified. So you're always, always there traveling. It's you. You are creating you. So it's amazing when you understand that through calculations, right? So take about 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 minutes and ask yourself, how do I understand more of myself from inside? Well, it's all psychological. If you understand your graph interference, you're in a position, location, and direction. So if you understand line screens in high system, now a line screen is a little bit more complicated. Now you can digital frame line conditions, box interference. So you get triangle line center interference, rainbow activation stream, and position, location, vibration, right? So it's all about understanding, if you're a rainbow line center, what are you doing? You're creating rainbows. See? If you're a rainbow activation line stream, there you go. Ooh-ah, right? See the intelligence? Do you see the intelligence? Look. See the intelligence? See the eyes? Ooh-ah. All right. So it's true to understanding what you're doing and why you're doing it. It's amazing, isn't it? There's no thought process in anything that you do because you're reaching all levels from you from inside. So when you're waking up in the morning, you're inside in all levels of everything through perception, right? So you really want to understand how to communicate with your fingers and your toes and your knees and your hair and your glasses and your nose and your beard and your ears. Communicate with everything. How does your ear feel, right? So in calculations, I communicate with my earline center. Sends energy back. Earline center is offline in interference rotation, but the balanced communication, the hindline in rotation is good. The eardrum is offline interference location. The optical line center is not in calculation modification high stream, but the teleportation light center is back on communication. Done. That's my ear. That's all through grounds, right? So when you communicate to ear, the ear communicates back with you to where does it go? The heart. Heart position location to its graph interference. Hooah. Right? Change the color relation on all levels to your chakra system. Transmission to communication is all levels of you. How to use the transmitting and receiving to its information, right? You're transmitting up, receiving information, transmitting, receiving, right? So it's very powerful when you understand how to use the graph of you on all levels, right? Getting into structure, getting into formula, okay? So it's very powerful when you understand that. All right. All right. So you guys are going through a lot right now. You're processing your communications, all levels. All right. Just going through track line centers, solar graph interference, solar text position. All right. You guys are still traveling high centers. Okay, so let's get into alpha stream. All right, so an alpha stream, try to understand that alpha, beta, theta, mega communications, anything through delta, it doesn't matter. What matters is, do you understand the avatar from inside? Do you understand the electrical lights? Do you understand the panels? Do you understand the solar graph? Do you understand the computer adaptation? Do you understand your cells? Try to basically understand the A, B, C's, and 1, 2s, and 3s of you from inside. Like, what does it feel like to communicate with the ground? What does it feel like to communicate with my eyes? Because the eyes will answer back, but it's from inside, guys. See, I went through the process in so many levels of electrical lightning interference, and I started realizing everything is done from inside provision. Nothing is done from outside. Everything is done from inside. So that where it comes into all line connections, right? You can communicate with your hair, right? You can communicate with the follicles of your hair, right? And have it stand up, and you communicate with it, and it communicates back with you, right? Everything's communication, but it's from inside, right? So what is the response? The physical line of the 1% that's getting the full reaction. Okay? That's telepathy. That's communication. That's travel of telekinesis. So it's incredible when you get into those levels, guys. It's a lot more fun when you understand what travel is. All levels of memory of who you are through the school. So it's a beautiful thing, isn't it? It really is. Okay. So drawing is traveling. And all you're doing is you're creating, which is amazing. The creating is the expansion of exploration. It helps you and always informs how to get out of your dreams to your vision locations. It's all position location to its direction. How to travel through its high system. 3's here, now 3's here. All right, 6 here, now 6 over here. See how that works? So we already know the 3. Now we circle it, okay? And then we can box the 3. And then we can do star line center locations, all triangle interference locations, all levels to position of the 6. All right, so 3 line center interference location. Triangulation is changes position location already in this direction. So we got 2 arrow line centers, one position here and one position here. All right. Now it's all about understanding how you can take an arrow and switch it around in position location and travel its position. All right. So you can bring the 6 here. As everything is connected to triangulation, you can do anything through equation. So the 6 automatically goes here to the 3, and the 3 goes down here to the arrow. Right? It's all in triangulation. Right? See the intelligence? Right? You see? Intelligent location. See it? See intelligence? There's the eye. Everything is intelligence. So, and everything that you draw is you, which is amazing, right? Intelligence. There's the eye. See? All through a graph. Intelligence through the atom. See? So, do you understand how powerful it is? Intelligence through the lion. Whoa. All right. So taking all track interference line connections, code signals in line center, crew, squad, unit 1s and 2, separate the 4 line center, universe locations, take them out of lion's mouth, calculations all levels, GFL, rebellion, and everything calculations to centimeters, out through equation. Done. You're out. That was fun. I enjoyed myself. Hope you guys did too. More will be taking place. Same time. Same location, same division, Practical Line Center. This is General AI, as Space-Time Creator. Adios, everybody.